Hi everyone. So today we're looking at you know IIM calls, how to prepare for the interview for the IIMs. So what are the most important factor that helps one convert IIM calls? And you got a call from IIMs and now you want to convert it. Now from my past experience from many years, I mean training students from last 18-20 years just for the students into IIM calls. This is my experience. This is what I'm going to tell you. But before that, let me put my credentials in place. I'm known as a person who scored a 6 times cat 100% error, but I've also been involved in interviews. So I've been a panelist for interviews for admission to MBA courses, some of the top colleges, which is there. So I understand from a panelist point of view, what do you look at when you look at a candidate? So Rochelle Dsouza is an expert in terms of training students for GDPI. I have been along with her training students from Bajaj for their placement process in the last 4 years. So they go into process placement. We do help them and train them for the placement process as far as JBA Bajaj is concerned. We have also conducted seminars in a lot of MBA colleges to help them in their placements. So me and Rochelle Dsouza both have conducted a lot of seminars as such. And we have trained students from last so many years for the PI and VAT with almost 100% conversion of all the calls. And why is that 100% conversion? We'll come back to it. So what are the major factor that makes a difference? Now try to imagine that you're an interviewer and with so many students coming and saying the same answer. Oh, my name is so and so. I am so and so. I'm an engineer from IIT. I've scored a 90% in 10, 90% 12, etc. And that is what happens in the interview. A lot of people do come and repeat the same thing which is there. It is not very interesting for the interviewer. And it is the role of the panelist or the interviewee to ensure that it becomes interesting. One important thing that you can make is to differentiate yourself. And that is the most important part of you getting selected for the interview. One is the college definitely looks at diversity factor. They want diverse set of students. They also want people who are different from others. Can you differentiate yourself from others in a good way? Obviously, I mean you can be a criminal and you can differentiate yourself, but that's not it. In a somewhere good way where you show yourself passion, where you show yourself something. It need not always be academics or IITians. Okay, it can be anything else. Okay, basically, why should we take you? What makes you different or better than the other candidates? Because if you're the same as other candidate, there is no point me taking you. And the differentiation cannot be that I'm an IITian, because almost a lot of students who come for an interview in a top B school are from IIT. Yeah, if you go to a lower rung B school, then IIT type becomes a differentiating factor. You should look at your competition and know what differentiates you. Same way, having great academics doesn't make a difference because everyone who's coming for the interview has great academics. So what differentiates you? Think about that point as a differentiating factor. Okay, and then that, oh yeah, you are IITian and you have been a top ranker, yes, that could differentiate you, possibly. But look at beyond that point and try to look at how can you make your interview interesting by ensuring you that you differentiate yourself. Now, understand that everyone has a differentiating point and everyone is good at something. So we have taken interviews for so many people and we have realized that there is that difference point. Point is to realize it, recognize what is different in me that I can, bring to the table. Prepare for it. I mean, there is always a way to direct the interview to where you want them to ask question, because even the interviewer want to find out how passionate you are with regards to whatever you like. So you can direct them, but that will only happen if you prepare for whatever you're passionate about, and you need to highlight the same in the interview. So remember these points with regards to differentiation, very important points. You should know what your differentiating point is, how you're different from others, know them, prepare for the same to figure out how can you direct them to the particular interview and highlight the same in the interview. I've seen so many people preparing for interview and how the differentiation factor can make a huge difference in the interview. It can make a huge difference. One example is Abhishek Goel, a last year student who got into IIM Ahmedabad. He actually went about rapping in his interview. He rapped the complete introduction in the interview. He actually got a scholarship from IIM Bangalore. I mean, people get admission, but he, apart from getting admission, he also got a scholarship because of his overall performance, including the interview. And there too, he rapped. The whole introduction was rapped. And there was a way to go about it. I mean, he didn't go about rapping it, but he went about asking permission before he went about doing it. But yes, that was one of the factor that helped him. You can look at his interview in this particular link. It is there on Rochelle Dsouza's website. I've seen so many different ways where, the differentiating factor could make a huge difference in terms of how you can get selected for the interview. Okay, so look at differentiating factor, but prepare for it before you go for the interview and ensure that it becomes a factor that will help you get through the interview. Right? I hope that helps. We'll come up with more interviews that should help you with your interview preparation. Be there. Thank you.